All right, for more on this, we're now being joined by Aledo, former U.S. military officer, former CIA contractor, and former intelligence and operations officer, Pentagon, currently chief executive officer of Miami Intelligence Agency. Mr. Aledo, thank you so much for joining us on WION World is One. Mr. Aledo, if I was... Right. Mr. Aledo, if I was just to begin with the statements that we heard earlier of Trump saying, and even J.D. Vance echoed this, saying that Iran's nuclear program had been completely obliterated. We do know that the stated goal of what we saw in West Asia was to dismantle Iran's nuclear program. And if we were to go by the statements that we've been hearing from Netanyahu, he has been saying for years now that Iran has been months away or perhaps weeks away from a nuclear weapon. From these strikes, as per the preliminary reports, Iran is, well, still months away from a nuclear weapon. So when it comes to the military objectives and the operational success of these operations, how do you assess that?
Well, right now, we don't know for sure what is on the ground, what the results are. We will have to wait until independent third-party people will go over there, especially from international organizations, and give us an assessment. But right now, all intelligence is conflicted. Obviously, Trump wants to say to the people in the United States that this operation was great and amazing and accomplished everything, and no further operations are needed. Obviously, Israel will very soon say that they still need to destroy more. Israel, we cannot trust any intelligence that Israel gives, because all the intelligence that Israel gives to the war is basically just talking points in their own interest, public affairs. They have political goals, and they manipulate all intelligence they give to the war based on their war view, on their personal, in their national objectives. So it's not trustable at all. So we will have to wait until third parties give us a more neutral assessment. And obviously Iran also will say that the damages were minor, that the program is still alive, etc. We will have to wait. That's the bottom line. Now, what Trump is doing, Trump wants to pacify, let's say, a lot of people in the neocon side, the globalist side of the Republican Party, saying, listen, we are helping Iran. We did very powerful strikes. But at the same time, he doesn't want to extend this war. He doesn't want to go beyond this. He wants an immediate ceasefire, and he wants an end of all military operations, because if he doesn't do that, then he risks the anger of his MAGA base, the paleo-conservative MAGA base that voted for Trump because he promised that he will not start new wars, that he will end wars, and he doesn't want this to continue. He wants to put a full stop as soon as possible, because he fears a big divide between the globalist neocon side of the Republican Party against the MAGA base of the Republican Party, the paleoconservative side. So he wants to stop this as soon as possible.
Right, and that being said, news just coming in. We have just recently seen another post from Trump saying that this is fake news, and he has again said that this was the most successful military strikes in history. The nuclear sites in Iran are completely destroyed. Now, I want your assessment on the fact that, is that even a possibility to destroy completely or obliterate these nuclear sites? Is that even a possibility with these strikes that U.S. conducted?
Yes, it's possible from the military viewpoint. Yes, these facilities can be destroyed, and because of the open source evidence that I see, the unclassified evidence I see on the press, these facilities were very much destroyed or almost destroyed. What we don't know is what was inside at the moment of the strikes, because these strikes have been telegraphed for the days, perhaps weeks. So we don't know if the Iranians remove some important components out of those sites and they place it somewhere else, or they disperse those components in other places around the country before the strikes. That is what we don't know. We don't have a very accurate assessment. I mean, the DIA is very good, the Defense Intelligence Agency. I work as a contractor for 2 years at the DIA. They are very good at what they do. But again, without having a team of massing experts on the ground, the measurement and signature scientists, forensic scientists on the ground, and without first-hand intelligence, it's extremely hard to figure out what was there at the time of the attacks. If maybe the places were empty, maybe the places were not empty, and the damage to the nuclear program was catastrophic. We don't know yet. Again, every side is gonna spin their intelligence or their talking points based on political ideology, based on their objective. I mean, for mass consumption, public relations consumption, talking points, propaganda talking points. So we will have to wait a few weeks, perhaps months, until a third party, objective, neutral third party, give us real, accurate intelligence of what's going on the ground and how effective these strikes were. But right now, again, the most important thing for Trump is to stop this as soon as possible, because he doesn't want to divide. He doesn't want to split his base of support between the neocon establishment, globalist establishment, basically most of the people in Congress, most of the pro-IPAC, pro-intervention party, against the MAGA base, the paleoconservative, alt-right MAGA base that voted for Trump precisely because he promised not to start new wars. So right now, what Trump is doing, basically in a very strong way, is to stop at all costs any further action, because he doesn't want his base to split. He doesn't want his base to divide.
That's true. That's very true that you mentioned, and especially the fact that we don't have the reports. We can't just come to a conclusion that what's going to happen. But also, both these countries, Iran and Israel, they've been claiming victory over this. Of course, the basis happens to be the reports that come in to see if there was a damage. But on your part, how do you see this whole conflict playing out? And when they both have claimed a victory, where Iran is saying that we're going to go back to the negotiating table, it seems like it's back on point 1, that they're going to be back on the negotiating table, and they're still very much adamant about the fact that they really want to go ahead with their nuclear program.
Well, there is the immediate goals and there is the long-term goals. The immediate goals of Israel, according to what they said, it was to stop the nuclear program. But most than that, I think more important than that, what they wanted to avoid was any kind of diplomatic negotiation or understanding between the United States and Trump. They wanted to sabotage diplomacy between the United States, between the United States and Iran. They don't want the negotiations that have been taking place for months. They want to stop that. Obama did a diplomatic arrangement with Iran 10 years ago, and for Israel, for the Israel goals, that's terrible. So one of the main goals they had was to stop the negotiation, to stop any kind of agreement, diplomatic agreement between the United States and Iran. Also, they said that they wanted to destroy the nuclear program. But basically, I think that was not the main issue. That was not the main thing. The main thing was to stop the negotiation between the United States and Iran. And also, they were hoping or expecting regime change. They wanted a color revolution, a soft coup. And they want the people to race against the regime in Tehran. They were hoping to get rid of the Islamic Revolution regime that had been in place over there from 1979. They want a regime change. They wanted to place a friendlier government to Israel. And obviously that was not accomplished. For the side of Iran, their main goal was to survive. And I think they survived. I think that this is kind of a victory, a strategic level victory, despite all the terrible damage that Israel caused, and despite all the people that were murdered, the general, the scientists, the facilities, and all the losses. just by surviving, by not being victim of a regime change, color revolution like Ukraine, Maidan, February 2014, one of these very color revolutions that the United States and the United Kingdom are very, very good doing, the CIA and the MI6, they are very good organizing these color revolutions, regime change, soft coups. And if they can survive, the regime can survive, that is good enough victory for them. With time, during the next 2, 3, 4 years, even though if they don't rebuild their nuclear program, at least they are going to rebuild a lot of their military capability with the help of China, with the help of Russia, with the help perhaps of Pakistan. They will be able to rebuild their military force, their strategic missile force, their air defenses, and they will survive. That's basically what a victory for Iran looks, surviving. Israel, on the other hand, they lost a strategic choice or a strategic advantage. They wanted to destroy Iran. They want to do regime change, color revolution, put a friendlier government, perhaps the son of the last Shah of Iran over there as a friendlier government, but they lost that. They did not accomplish their objective. And basically that is a strategic defeat for Israel, because remember, Israel already got rid of all their strategic foes, all the strategic level challengers or foes in the area. They got rid of Egypt in the 70s with the peace agreement. They got rid of Saddam Hussein in 2003. They got rid of Syria just recently with the defeat of the Bashar al-Assad regime. That was an Alawite Christian Shia government over there in Syria. They got basically rid of Hezbollah, who is a terrible weak now, very weak because of the military and intelligence operations. So the last strategic foe in the area was Iran, and they wanted to get rid of Iran, but they failed. So that was a strategic defeat for Israel, a strategic victory for Iran, because they just survived. If they survive, that's good enough.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Aledo, thank you so much for joining us on World DNA with your insights and your perspective on this.
Thank you very much.